The storm beat fiercely against the glass vanes of the Adelaide Corporation Tower, the downpour drumming like a war march long past midnight. Archie Lambert guided his janitorial cart through the silent corridor, fluorescent lights humming weakly. Above him, nearby, perched on a bench by the elevator, his 7-year-old daughter Adelaide swung her legs, clutching her threadbare rabbit as if it carried her mother's heartbeat. Then the stairwell shadows shifted. 3 men emerged with cold purpose, advancing toward the little girl. Adelaide's eyes grew enormous. "Daddy, please stop them." Her cry tore through the quiet. Archie turned instinct, drowning every conscious thought. 6 seconds. Pivot, an elbow driven into one throat. Surgical punch folding the second intruder. A sweeping kick flattening the third across the polished floor. By dawn, a government motorcade idled outside their decaying apartment block. Archie Lambert had spent years mastering invisibility. At 36, he stood tall and broad-shouldered, the kind of physique shaped by discipline rather than gym vanity. His dark hair was clipped with military neatness, though no one at Adelaide Corporation ever knew the reason. His hands, worn from pushing mops and hauling trash, carried faint scars, pale reminders of a life he refused to revisit. Once, he had belonged to something buried beneath layers of classified Inca counterterrorism division, so secret it didn't officially exist. They called the unit Retrieval Operations, a polished phrase masking missions carved out of nightmares. Extracting senators' children from cellars in war-scarred cities, pulling hostages from compounds erased from every map. Archie excelled. Too much. He could gut-treat a room in a heartbeat, neutralize a threat before it fully formed, carry a wounded stranger across hostile terrain without slowing his pace. Then Helen appeared. Helen with her bright, disarming laugh and her stubborn belief that Archie was more than a sharpened weapon. They married quietly. She became pregnant. Archie swore he would leave the shadows behind after one final mission. But Helen never lived to hear that vow completed. Complications during Adelaide's birth tore her from the world. Doctors spoke of hemorrhages and cardiac failures. Archie heard only that the woman he loved was gone. He was left holding a tiny newborn who needed him more fiercely than any classified objective ever had. So he vanished not from Adelaide, but from the world that once knew him by Conony. He became a janitor. Meager pay, brutal hours. But it allowed him to orbit his daughter like a protective star. Each night, he scrubbed the marble floors and steel offices of the Adelaide Corporation. Tower glass fortress of wealth piercing the skyline. And each day, he became simply Dad. Adelaide napped in employee lounges, did homework under the vending machine glow, and waited for him in quiet corners while he cleaned the spaces where powerful people made decisions they never imagined. A man like him overheard Adelaide Lambert was all the things Archie was not. Where he dissolved into silence, she radiated curiosity. Where he hid, she questioned. She carried her mother's golden hair and her father's steel-gray eyes. Shy among other children, but fearless with him, she filled his nights with a constellation of questions. Why birds fled south, how towers remained standing. Whether distant stars noticed the people watching them, Archie answered everything truth when he could, stories when he couldn't. She was his entire universe. Protecting her meant shielding her from the violence etched into his past. Alexandra. Rhodeses commanded the Adelaide Corporation the way a seasoned general commanded a fortified front strategic, poised and emotionally armored. At 33, she was younger than the board members who had repeatedly underestimated her. Her authority fit her like tailored armor-impeccable attire. Flawless blonde waves, crimson dresses that projected dominance without apology. She strode through her tower with the effortless ownership of someone who knew every inch of it belonged to her. But power always arrived carrying its own ghosts. At 14, Alexandra had been abducted. Her father, a senator with enemies, had learned the cruelly efficient truth: break a man by stealing his child. She endured for days, swallowed by darkness, listening to footsteps overhead, wondering if sunlight was a memory she'd never feel again. Then someone came for her. She remembered. No face, just strong arms lifting her, and a calm voice whispering, "You're safe now." He carried her through what seemed like endless forest until official rescuers finally arrived. By then, her savior had vanished into the night. The trauma counselor insisted she would forget the details. In time, she never did. She remembered that suffocating helplessness, the kind that carved itself into bones, so she built her entire existence around ensuring she would never feel powerless again. Control became her creed. Trust became a currency far too expensive to spend. The janitor who worked unseen in her empire's hallways, he barely existed in her awareness, just another cog turning quietly in the vast machine she commanded. Until the night 3 predators came for his child. The assault unfolded in the secluded stretch of the 42nd floor. Near the executive suites where silence usually masked Welt's whispers, Archie had just finished the last conference room and was steering his cart toward the service elevator when Adelaide tugged his sleeve, saying she needed the restroom. He pointed her toward the small one by the waiting area. She barely rounded the corner when the stairwell door eased open. 3 men stepped out. Not security, not employees. These were hunters moving with the cold precision of men who stalk for a living. Their eyes locked instantly onto Adelaide. The little girl froze. 20 feet shrank to 15, 15 to 10. Close enough for her to see their expressions, disciplined, utterly merciless. Her lungs clawed for breath. "Daddy, please stop them." Archie didn't think he was too slow. His body resurrected a skill set he'd buried years ago. The moment the first man reached for Adelaide, something inside Archie snapped back into its true shape. The janitor uniform ceased to matter. The mop cart rattled uselessly aside. He crossed the floor in 3 powerful strides. The first attacker never even registered the danger and elbow slammed into his throat with surgical accuracy, dropping him gasping for air. The second lunged with a punch meant to shatter bone. Archie slipped past it, redirected the man's momentum, and drove a fist into his solar plexus so hard the man collapsed with a strangled wheeze. The third drew a knife-an error, born of arrogance. Archie caught the man's wrist, twisted until a sharp crack echoed, and swept his legs from under him. The attacker's skull struck the marble with a hollow thud. 6 seconds. 3 men erased. Adelaide's tiny frame shook. Her blue eyes were frozen wide with terror, and she ran straight into Archie's arms. She collided with him in a desperate embrace as he wrapped her close, heart pounding like a drum fighting through his ribcage. "It's okay, sweetheart. Daddy's here." It wasn't okay. Everything about the men, their formation, their synchronized advance, their gear screamed professionalism. Someone had dispatched them. Someone who knew where Archie worked. Someone who knew where Adelaide would be. He glanced at the security camera blinking quietly in the corner. Then, at the unconscious bodies. He calculated fast he had minutes before reinforcements arrived, before questions were asked, questions he had no intention of answering. He pulled Adelaide close and moved with the certainty of someone who once mapped buildings by instinct. He knew every blind spot. He knew which stairwell lock had never been fixed. When security finally reached the scene, they would find 3 disoriented attackers and no trace of the janitor who demolished them. That night, sleep never touched him. Archie sat in the dimness of their cramped apartment, staring through torn curtains at the street below. Adelaide slept restlessly, calling out twice. Both times, he was already beside her, gripping her hand, whispering that monsters didn't exist, but he knew monsters too well. And now they knew his address. Morning arrived not with police sirens, but something far heavier. Adelaide ate cereal at their wobbly kitchen table while Archie listened to the deep rumble of engines. He pulled the curtain aside. 5 black SUVs. With government plates sealed off the street, men in tactical gear formed a perimeter, stepping out of the armored Cadillac at the center draped in a crimson dress, blonde hair sleeked back. Expression hidden behind expensive sunglasses was Alexandra rode S's, her presence in a neighborhood where rust bled down brick walls and laundry. Sagged across fire escapes was nothing short of shocking. Residents spilled outside. Phones rose into the air. Power did not descend into poverty unless something earth-shaking was unfolding. Alexandra walked straight toward Archie's building. two men in dark suits flanking her. She climbed the 4 flights of stairs like she was walking into a boardroom designed for her. She had never forgotten the suffocating helplessness of being a powerless child in the dark. That memory shaped her entire adult life. She built herself into a fortress. Control became her doctrine, trust a luxury she refused to purchase. And the janitor who mopped her building's hallways at night was merely part of the unseen machinery that kept her empire humming, until 3 predators came for his little girl. When Alexandra knocked on Archie's apartment door, the sound was crisp, professional, controlled. Adelaide looked up at her father, eyes wide with questions. Archie pressed a finger to his lips before opening the door. Alexandra stood in tea. "You're infuriating. You're clearly used to people obeying you." Another pause. Then, "Fine, but my team is 2 blocks away. If anything happens, they'll be at your door in 90 seconds, noted." Archie returned upstairs, but sleep never came. He watched, he waited, and he thought about her words, how the past never stayed buried, how unfinished things always clawed their way back. The next day, Alexandra found him at work, not at the apartment at the tower. On the 37th floor, emptying trash in a glass conference room overlooking the city. She stepped inside and closed the door behind her. No entourage, no armed shadows, just her. "I've been thinking about what you said," she began. Archie kept cleaning. "Which part? The part about wanting to be a father, not a weapon?" She hesitated. "I understand that. More than you think." Archie looked at her, truly looked at her, past the luxury tailoring and the icy authority she always wore, past the CEO armor. He saw a girl who had been terrified at 14, and who had never fully stopped being terrified. "What happened when you were taken?" he asked, voice quiet. Alexandra's composure flickered. She lowered herself into one of the conference chairs. "For days in a basement," she whispered, "they fed me once a day." Told me her voice carried a calm edge, but her trembling hands revealed the truth. "My captors kept repeating, the same poison that my father didn't care enough to pay, that I'd die in that filthy basement." She inhaled slowly, steadying herself. Then one night someone came. Not law enforcement, not federal agents, someone else entirely. He lifted me out of that nightmare, carried me through a forest. I remember his arms. Safe, strong. I remember thinking that if I just held on to him, I'd survive. Her eyes lifted to Archie's face. I never saw who he was. By the time the official rescue team reached the scene, he had already vanished. Archie froze mid-motion, his throat tightening. "For years I searched," she continued. "Every trail led nowhere. My father told me some missions are buried too deep to ever see daylight, that I should just be grateful and let it go." A hollow, bitter laugh escaped her, but I never let go. I built an empire instead. I convinced myself that power could replace safety, that no one would ever take me again. She folded her hands, staring at them. But it didn't fix anything. Inside, I'm still that terrified 14-year-old sitting in the dark. "You're not," Archie said quietly. "That girl survived. The woman sitting in front of me conquered the world." "Did she?" Alexandra whispered. "Or did. She'll just build higher walls around the same fear." Before he could reply, his phone buzzed Adelaide's school. She was ill, nothing severe, but she needed to be picked up. Archie apologized and left. But Alexandra's words stayed with him long after he walked away, about walls, survival, and the thin line between the two. That night, while Adelaide slept fitfully with a slight fever, Archie received another message. "Check your door." He opened it to find a plain envelope. Inside, a photograph of Adelaide at school that very day. Someone had been watching. His hand shook with fury. He called Alexandra. "They photographed my daughter. Bring her to my office immediately. Both of you. It's the middle of the night, I don't care. If they're bold enough to surveil a school, they're bold enough to act. My building is secure. Your apartment is not." Archie glanced at his sleeping child. He made the decision no parent ever wants to make. Woke her gently. "Sweetheart, we need to go somewhere safe tonight." Groggy and feverish, she didn't question him. She trusted him completely. Trust. That meant everything. Alexandra's office, normally a fortress of glass and steel, looked different when they arrived. The intimidating executive floor had been transformed. A couch made into a bed, warm blankets, a mug of hot chocolate, a small stack of picture books. I called my assistant, Alexandra said. She has nieces. Adelaide brightened at the sight of the hot chocolate and curled into the blanket with a book. While Archie and Alexandra spoke quietly across the room, my team recovered the drone you destroyed, she began. Military grade, incredibly expensive. Whoever is funding this operation isn't dabbling, they're escalating, she continued. We traced the mercenaries you stopped. They were hired through a maze of shell companies. At the end of it, all a name emerged. She hesitated. Dermot Rispin. Archie felt the blood drain from his face. You're certain? We triple-checked. I know him, Archie said slowly. Not personally, but I know the kind of man he is. A fixer for the powerful someone you hire when you want a person erased without leaving a ripple. And if he's involved, this isn't business. It's personal. How personal? Alexandra asked. Archie paused. There was only one direction forward: truth. 2 decades ago, I served in a covert extraction unit. Hostage recovery missions that never reached the headlines. One operation involved the daughter of a prominent senator. She'd been taken by a criminal group. Dermot Rispone was the link between them. We dismantled the operation. He lost millions. He swore revenge on everyone who stood in his way. Alexandra's complexion went ghost white. What was the senator's name? Malcolm? Rhodes's. Silence thickened the room. Alexandra lowered herself into a chair. Breath caught in her throat. It was you, she whispered. Her voice broke open with recognition and disbelief. You were the one who saved me. Archie gestured to their threadbare couch. The CEO of a billion-dollar corporation sat amid mismatched thrift store furniture and walls patched with cheap plaster. Security stayed stationed in the hallway. Once the door shut, Alexandra began. I've been followed for 3 months. Professional surveillance. Archie stiffened. Someone breached my private security protocols. At first, we assumed corporate espionage. But patterns emerged: repeat faces at unrelated events, vehicles appearing. Too often to dismiss as coincidence. Last week, my security chief showed me footage of 3 men scouting Adelaide Corporation. She paused. The same 3 who attacked your daughter? Archie felt a cold weight drop into his stomach. They weren't after Adelaide, were they? No, she whispered. They were after me. I changed my schedule at the last moment. My team believes they were attempting to acquire leverage. My daughter was in the wrong place, Archie murmured, or the right one, depending how you view fate. Alexandra leaned forward, voice tight with urgency. Double quotes, Mr. Lambert. Whoever hired those men knows you stopped them. They know you aren't. What your resume claims? My team pulled your background. Your documented history begins 7 years ago, and before that, nothing. No academic records, no previous addresses, no footprint of any kind. You're a ghost. I'm a janitor. No, she corrected. You're someone who became a janitor. That's not the same thing. She studied him with unsettling precision. I need to understand what we're up against. Are you part of this? Are you a threat to my company? Adelaide wandered to the window, pressing her forehead to the glass to watch the motorcade outside. Archie lowered his voice. I'm a father trying to raise his daughter quietly. That's all I am now. Whatever I was before isn't relevant. It's relevant if it endangers everything I've built, Alexandra shot back. Archie's tone sharpened. 3 men tried to take my child. Your company is not my concern. Protecting her is. Then we have the same goal, Alexandra replied. She retrieved her phone and handed it to him. Do you recognize these men? Archie studied. The images with a veteran's eye. Military structure. Private contractor muscle. 2 of them have Eastern European bone structure. Mercenaries. Highly funded. How can you tell? I can tell. Alexandra slid the phone back into her pocket. My security chief believes this is connected to me too. Something buried. In my past, when I was 14, Alexandra said, her voice tightening. I was abducted. It was buried so deeply my father practically paid the earth itself to keep it silent. But whoever is behind this, her breath hitched. They know. They're trying to recreate it. Archie didn't interrupt. I don't know if it's revenge against my father or a strike against my company. What I do know is this. They're escalating. The men you stopped were only the opening move. Archie's eyes drifted to Adelaide, still at the window, drawing foggy shapes on the glass with her breath. What exactly do you want from me? He asked. Protection, she answered bluntly. For both of us. My security can guard me in predictable environments. But you, she gestured to him with restrained admiration. You saw a threat and dismantled it before most people would even register danger. I need someone who can do that if things spiral. I'm not a bodyguard. No, she said softly. You're something far more effective. You're someone they won't see coming. Archie rose to his feet. I appreciate the offer, Miss Rhodeses. But I walked away from that. Life for a reason. My daughter needs a father, not a weapon. Alexandra stood as well. Then consider this. If they know what you are now, do you honestly believe they'll just walk away? You embarrassed whoever hired those men. People like that don't forgive. Humiliation. Her words landed with a weight that echoed through the room. Archie knew she was right. He had violated the first rule of survival. Disappear. Never attract attention. But if he had to repeat the moment, he would have done the same thing every time. I need time, he murmured. You don't have time, Alexandra. Step toward the door. My security team cleared this building. You're safe for the moment, but Mr. Lambert. When they return you call me. She handed him a small card. That number reaches me directly. Any hour, she left. The motorcade withdrew 15 minutes later, leaving whispers behind on the sidewalks. Adelaide turned from the window. Daddy, are we in trouble? Archie pulled her close. No, sweetheart, everything's going to be fine. But he didn't believe it, not for a second. That night, he sat awake in the dark, watching the street from behind torn curtains. At some quiet hour, he heard a faint electric hum outside the window. A drone, small and expensive, drifting like a mechanical vulture. Its camera lens winked in the street. STHT. Archie moved without thought. He grabbed the kitchen broom, threw the window open, and hurled the handle like a spear. The hit was clean. The drone spun out, crashing into the alley below. By the time he sprinted downstairs, someone had already retrieved it. He texted Alexandra. They're watching. Her reply was instant. Pack a bag. My team is on the way. No, not yet, Lambert. Don't be reckless. Not reckless. Strategic. If we run now, they'll know we're rattled. They flew drones to your window. You should be rattled. Rattled and running aren't the same thing. There was a long pause. Archika, Sardir, Sejuka. I swear, I never knew it was you. I had no idea you were Senator Malcolm Rhodes's key Betty, you whacked. Tumbasek Dari, Hui Bachi, Tijais Kisi Ni, Bashana Tha, Alexandra, Kassans, How Kaise, Rook, Gaia, you carried me through the woods. You kept talking so I wouldn't panic. You told me my father loved me more than anything, and that I would see him again. I remember every word. Her eyes shimmered, but she didn't let the tears fall. I searched for you for 20 years. All this time, you were in my building, cleaning floors. She swallowed hard. How could you not know? Archie shook his head. Alexandra main zindagi main dizyan logan ko, extract kia hai. Kabionk namnahi jane, a high protocol thunk li bi or mir li bi. Jab main ni unit chodi, main peach sab, kuch dafendia. Faces, missions, everything. Alexandra, Achanuk, Youth Karshish, Kapos, Chaligay, City Lightsuski. Reflection Ko, Kissy BHT Ki Taraban Rahi Thi. So Dermot Rispin is coming after me. Because my father refused to pay ransom back then. Your team came instead. Delayed vengeance turns poisonous, Archie said quietly. He's had 2 full decades to gather power, contacts, resources. He's not just after you. Coming for me too. And for Adelaide, Alexandra whispered, Archie Kinazar, couch par soti, hui, Adelaide, par gai. I won't let him near her. We won't, Alexandra corrected softly. You saved me once. Let me stand between him and your daughter. Agla safartezi se guzra. Shh. Alexandra Key Security Knee Building KO, Barrack JNCH Main, Daladu, or Dis. Surveillance devices, Packer Teen Comsary, K Roast, Identify Hugh. Wo log the B Darioft Cargay, K Dermot Knee, Adelaide Corporation, K Endergoose, Beatty Admi, Mocha Par Rack, Hugh the Eek, Maintenance Worker, Joe Schmaheen, Pay Hall, Hire Hua Tha, or Ek Mid-Level Executive Joe Blackmail Kazari, Moragaya, Tha. Leakin, Dermot Ek Cheese, Nahi, Samaj, Saka Alexandra, Kapaz, Ace, Resources the Joe pays, say Nahi Kareda Sakt. Or Archie Kapaz Wo Skills the Joe Training say Nahi Zaberdas Tajorb say Page 8 Hain. Donan Kep, PA's Sabs Bori Chizek Hi Thi. Adelaide KO Mefuzar, AKH, NA.PHIR, Wo, Rot, AAYI, Adelaide. Alexandra Key Office, Sweet Main Garden, KA Soth, So Rahi Thi. Archie or Alexandra Building KI Schematics Deck, Rahi the Jab, Achanak Alarm Ekdum. CHUP, Hoge, Trigger Nahi Hu, Silence, Main Dubge, Kissy Ni Security System, Hack Cardia, Archie Ni Kaha, they're inside. Pause, Pad, Fire Extinguisher, Uthai Heavy. Solid. Effective. Get her to the panic room, right. Now, and you. Alexandra's voice was thin. To buy you enough minutes to disappear? Then he vanished into the corridors like the ghost he used to be. Emergency lights, Nilambi Lal, Parchian Pediki. Footsteps Goom Rahi the trained men trying to be silent. Archie Niek, Nazar Main, Andaza Lagalia. At least 8 assailants. Smart. Move would have been to hide. Wait for law enforcement. But law enforcement had one fatal flaw. They took time. Adelaide did not have that luxury. Pel Dulog Supply Closet Main Jira Die. Quick. Wordless Unk Radios, say Archie Ni Dusran Key. Movement Samaji. Whoa. Log Alexandra Kodund Rehi. The Whoa the Nahi Yante, the Key. Archie B Building Main Tha. Stairwell Main Tizra, or Chotha Gear. Narrow Space Archie Ka Dus Tha, Ungear, Nahi Sakta. Numbers Kafeta Nahi Utha Sakta, I Sakta, Ekka Kark. Sab Midi Hoge. Panchwa, Admi, Chalak, Nikla. Darwazi say, Nahi, Iya, Shish say, Iya repelling rope say, Latakta Hua. Conference room Ka, Glass Todd, Karander Gusa, Ladai, Shadat se Hui. Archie Caribs, Par Chakuchala, Likanes Admi, Nia Kursi. Sir Par, Kakar, Hashgawa, Dia Jab. Archie Wapa's top floor Pahancheb, Uski Kamis, Kunse, Barchuki, Thi Sara, Uskanahi, Thons, Barithi, Hathinki Knuckles Fat Chuk, the AUR. Uskrast Main Teen Batch Hugh Mercenaries, the Runk Beach Thaw Dermot Rispon, Patches K Upper, Ka, AADMI, Badia Salai Walla Suit, Safe Malay Ball, or Hathily Main, Pistol Yays, Tara Pakri Gavi, Woe, Professional Admi Kasign, Thi, Archie Lambert, Dermot Nihauka, S.A. Muscaraya, Yakahoon, Ghost, Tumhara, Piranha, Call Sign. I've waited 20 years for this moment. Then you've spent 20 years wasting your life, Archie replied. Dermot Hansi. Oh no, not wasted. While you hid in the dark mopping floors, I built an empire. And now I'm here to burn away every debt left unpaid. Archie Kia was Patar, Kitera I. Woe Admi, Gisk, Bacheki, Sanzabi, Bichal, Rahi Hai. Dermot Kachera sacked Hogaya, Ziada Dernahi. Dumnia Srat Muj Barbad, Kia Tomarisak, mere network, mere millions. Subzamun, Par Geyer, Kislai, Exia Satan, Ki Bilawaja, Bigdihue Betike Obashane K Lai. To rescue a child, Archie Ni Kaha, US Whacked Wobus, Ekbaki, The. And now, Dermot lifted a hand toward his men. She's the CEO who dies tonight in a very unfortunate building fire. He motioned to his mercenaries. Kill him, slowly, on my age, baddie. Archie Thaka, Hua Tha, Zakmi Tha, or Teen Kamukable Main, Aquila, Lakanwo, Mart Whacked, Laniwalan Main, Say Nahi Thawo, Unlogon Main, Say Thajo, Jean K, Liladhin, Pella Adme Uper, Say Iarki, Juk Gaya, Usk Pete Main, Apna Shoulder Gusadia, or Uski Body Kawazan Istamal, Kart Hu, Duserkai, Uperfenka, Dano Nichker Gay.
Teaser Blade Lekker Lobka, Archie Niaski Ristpakri, Gumei Akta Indigis Napkun Zetha, Chilahat Kawazan Upn Elbow Say Chop Karadia, Peldana Wath Kare A Reiki the, Archie Nipos Ki Desk Lamp Kawathe Il. And the key terror guma ao, she shall talk to who up kriga academy cedar bahosh, the uzra jump car nama archie sidestep car kaskape on eljadati high, askas or filing cabinet say ICA watts ksaf takreo dermot bipal barco sact hogo, absurf dermot gata they, or uskaith mine pistol, uski unglai hall kasakam praithi, tam chaprenashai itha, uzn kamoshi kochir kaha, I tried. Archie need hear say to Wabdia, Tomni Hidun Liamudge, Ken Tom careless ho gay, sentimental, Dermot neat tukfunka, a child made you weak, Archie ek kadam age bada, na, ek bakshi ni mudge mazbupanaya, gilly chali, Archie Hilam, bullet ni surfaski shoulder kokata, use regally chuki, for Archie yas partut para, pistol floor par gung hunahat ksafgiri, Dono gurga ya dermot train tha, lekan Archie's indirect lad rahathe, desperation hard dafa technique komat betty high, akur mind dermot bihashtha, zamin par fellow hua, Archie divorce a sahara likata tha, kunbarahatha, sans tut raithi, ask peach darwazakilla, Adelaide. Ansuan say big yankon ksaf kadi the, Alexandra pitch the, dad de broken bar, waski teraf doti, Archie neapnthik busu say uzi cause car pakda, it's okay, sweetheart, sab katam hogo, Adelaide peach hat car kun dikti high, you're hurt, baz thodisa, daddy tough high, boa tough. Alexandra need hear sakaha, askiankon mine bansuch emak rehi the, thank you, Archie niaski teraf dika, you'd have done the same for me, Alexandri kasar hall case a jukgo, mujnai padamainat nihem atrak pati, Archie nikaha. Bravery combat lab buffer hananai, dark blajud samakarno high, police say a gay, for federal agents, subahot hot dermatrispan federal custody mine they amaisa case jism say zine doggy barky goody yen heinekalanji, ask mercenaries pak gay, company kander joe log ask like camp car rehi the. Unhotted Diego, Archie Hospital bed par bathatha, stitches laganara hathe, askibati ask pos kursi parsodi the, government cloga a, wapos service join kuro, full reinstatement, double pay, Archie nimas kurd humanicardia, mribati ko bapshai I. Weapon nai, main wapas kabi weapon nai bananga, watch algay, lekant Alexandra gay, mirapus biak offer high, uzn kaha, Adelaide Corporation ka head of security, proper salary, benefits, ekachi apartmenta sabs zer ori. As hours ksaf jo tumhari daughter ko tumhar wakta, I'm not qualified. Archie Nikamzer Hansik Saith Kaha, some Niath drain attackers ko Raktia, tum overqualified home, for usn't here Sakaha. Before you say no a broken bar Adelaide, air mind Sochna, wa is say better sign dog a deserve cardi high, Archie Ninin mind do be apnebody kodaka. I don't want charity, it's not charity, it's payment, and a broken bar, she hesitated, a broken bar shama at surf payment say Sayada, she looked him in the eyes. You saved my life twice. The least I can do is help rebuild yours. I called my assistant, Alexandra said. She has nieces. Adelaide brightened at the sight of the hot chocolate and curled into the blanket with a book, while Archie and Alexandra spoke quietly across the room. My team recovered the drone you destroyed, she began. Military grade. Incredibly expensive. Whoever is funding this operation isn't dabbling or they're escalating, she continued. We traced the mercenaries you stopped. They were hired through a maze of shell companies. At the end of it all, a name emerged. She hesitated. Dermot Risbon. Archie felt the blood drain from his face. You're certain? We triple-checked. I know him, Archie said slowly. Not personally, but I know the kind of man he is. A fixer for the powerful, someone you hire when you want a person erased without leaving a ripple. If he's involved, this isn't business, it's personal. How personal? Alexandra asked. Archie paused. There was only one direction forward at truth. 2 decades ago, I served in a covert extraction unit, hostage recovery missions that never reached the headlines. One operation involved the daughter of a prominent senator. She'd been taken by a criminal group. Dermot Risbon was the link between them. We dismantled the operation. He lost millions. He swore revenge on everyone who stood in his way. Alexandra's complexion went ghost white. What was the senator's name? Malcolm Rodas. Silence thickened the room. Alexandra lowered herself into a chair. Breath caught in her throat. It was you, she whispered. Her voice broke open with recognition and disbelief. You a broken bar, you were the one who saved me. Archie Cassard here Sejuka. I swear, I never knew it was you. I had no idea you were Senator Malcolm Rodaskibati. Aswakta broken bar tambazekdari huabakithi jais kisi ni bakonathe. Alexandri Kassans hall kasayukga. You carried me through the woods. You kept talking so I wouldn't panic. You told me my father loved me more than anything, and that I would see him again. I remember every word. Her eyes shimmered, but she didn't let the tears fall. I searched for you for 20 years, a broken bar, and all this time, you were in my building, cleaning floors. She swallowed hard. How can you not know? Archie shook his head. Alexandra, main sein doggy mind as I on log on co-extract kia high. Kabi unknem na ja diaresis nay. Ya high protocol thay unkli bil mirli jab main ni unit quality. Main peach sab kuchstaff nay diaresis dia. Faces, missions, everything. Alexandra a kan akath karshish chali gay. City lights uski reflection ko kisi batik he turban a diaresis raithi. So Dermot Risbon is coming after me, broken bar, because my father refused to pay ransom back in a broken bar and your team came instead. Delayed vengeance turns poisonous, Archie said quietly. He's had 2 full decades to gather power, contacts, resources. He's not just after you, he's coming for me too. And for Adelaide, Alexandra whispered. Archie Kinazar couch par sodi hu Adelaide par gay. I won't let him near her. We won't, Alexandra corrected softly. You saved me once, let me stand between him and your daughter. Lekan dermatakshis nais hamaj saka a currency and a currency 3/4 a. Alexandra Kpazaye resources the Joe Pay say nai carried a yas act. Archie Pazwal skills the Joe training say nai. Zabardast Tajer B say page 8 hain. Don Pazabs Barichi Zek High The. Adelaide Komefus Rakna. For Warada a. Adelaide. Alexandra Kioff a sweet vine garden South Soraithi. Archie Alexandra building schematics Dekrehi the Jab Bacon Akalarmakdam Chup Hogaya. Trigger Naihu. Silence mind dub gay. Kissy ni security system hack cardia. Archie Nikaha. They're inside. Uznpuz padta fire extinguisher a heavy, solid, effective. Get her to the panic room, right now. And you? Alexandra's voice was thin. To buy you enough minutes to disappear. Then he vanished into the corridors like the ghost he used to be. Emergency lights ni lambi lal parch a diaresis sent the key. Footsteps kum raithia train man trying to be silent. Archie ni eknazar mine and dazalagalia. At least 8 assailants. Smart move would have been to hide, wait for law enforcement. But law enforcement had one fatal flaw. They took time. Adelaide did not have that luxury. Pel du log supply closet mangiradai quick, wordless, on radio say Archie need user on key movements emoji, walog Alexandra ko dundrehi the, waina ijant the karchi building mind they, stairwell mind teaser chathagire, neurospace Archie kadast they, ungarnai sakta. Numbers kofdana uthasakta, ek akark sabmiti hoge, Archie cribs parshakuchala. Lekana sadmi niya kursi sir par kakar hashkawadia, jab archi wapas top floor po anche diaresis. Aski kamis kun say bar chuki thia archi ni jehri sans li, kanki bis sol pelta mudjayakin dia thaktuni yamina bi big clog majud hain. Alexandra need himia was mine kaha, tamud sika thak jab sabrast band ho jate hain. Tar Bitcoin akoi hisab say the hey I broken bar koi jo back chiko and here say rahar niklakar roshani takla jay to high ab much badlaid glywoi and son bando broken bar a swak jis terratum mirlitha Archie lambi der tak kamash raha ferd here say bola agrias abhano high. To apni school mine hire egai muj weekend par apni badik life versat shahai Alexandra kacharan armpadgo bands or kunch mahanbad ek hall ki dup whale weekend ki suba Dean log Alexandra kiamer at Carib Park grass chalt nazara a Archia ab puri terrasahad man the hall masquerade hu Adelaide kojual par dak the rahath a thodi door Alexandra a bench par bathi undano ko di kraithi. Ask chair parsakun kaik naya society a jays lamon ka baju targa home. Azn upnam dine whale sack lao power dresses ki jaga jeansa hall katop penahuatha. Balkuathia broken barek naya. Insaniandas, Adelaide jewel sayatri, Hawaii a culture QCD undano ki teraf balgi. Did you see? I flew. Bilkul, Archie ni use picad kara parathaya. Tom Bilkul the ki terra adi home. Chodi si hansik saf. Adelaide niak hath Archie compact da uzra Alexandra ka. Ice cream. Subikdas badre he hain. Alexandra nizara saktid kate hu kaha. Adelaide nizar halakar kaha. Ice cream kakoi walk nai hoda. Archie ni kondhak kakar masquerade. Ba ought to thikarai high. Tino saf chalt hu ice cream cart ki teraf bad. Adelaide and beach latakti. Har kadam par apni choti biting share karsia ek kitab jo wapadrai thi, ek naya dust, ek titli joazn ducky thi, kodi chizina broken bar magra kubsur at chizan, rast minusnak thum sayap bap ka hath zer say pakda, dowdy, han, yan, ab humsak mine safe hain na, bere log ab not ya anj, Archie nias kohath mas budi say thalma, han, yan. How mefus hain, main wada kardihun, Adelaide ni beefikri say sans li, aka, kanki mujya jagable hat pay sentai, muj Alexandra bit pay sentai, humaranaya garbit for hall ki siru kawat bad wapukti high, kai ap kolagdi high mama ko bit pay sand a dum, Archie cod dil egg pal ko thema, usn Alexandra ki teraf the kay askiankon mine and such emak rehi the, han. Brian, Tamhari Mamako Yabrahat Pace and Aita, Watam Par Fakrakardi, Tampar, Muj Para Broken Bar Humdono Par, is Jawab Same Up Main Holkar Radle Dagay Bagay, Ice Cream Cart Ki Teraf, Peach Alti Hugh Alexandra Him Sabale, Shukriya a Broken Bar Muj ISS Kodi Si Dunidaka Hisabandin Climb, Archie Ni use the cum. Furmasqueraya, Shukriya Tumhare a Broken Bar Hum Betrasign Doggy Dean Kamaka Dean Climb, Kaya Betrahai? Uzn Hall Kasapucha, Archini Apne Batiki Teraf Dikhe a Surajki Roshani Mine Hansai Hu, Mefus, Kush, Pai Arse Giri Hu, Han. Uzn himi musker utksaith kaha, ya betrahai, Alexandra nias kohaith pikadlia, wahaith shayadabi mohabbat na ithay a broken bar magaramidzer or thi, ek shuryat a broken bar kachayisa jo walked mile to full sack the thay, ice cream cart par, Adelaide ni strawberry minchi, Alexandra ni vanilla, Archie ni chocolate, Fertino par ki bench par bath car apni sign doggy kike nyasaf, Roshan saf hakule a teen log. Jinhan and here ni todden ki kashish ki thi, magaran hon sath rakar apni roshni bane,